And now, I Talk Back with Ray
I'm telling you, I couldn't make it up if I tried.
and Mandii.
You've got to be freaking kidding me. You know what? That's all I'm saying.
So I personally quit going to a particular church that my son goes to here. The pastor had a lot to say about election time, right? And my issue with that was because of his congregation is very diverse. He's a white pastor and a very diverse congregation, and I just felt like his view was very tone deaf because he made a comment, and I just feel like personally it's very difficult for me to stomach and to digest a white male middle age having any opinion about racism or any opinion about something being prejudiced or feeling something's not fair. You've never had to experience that, sir. So you can't speak on somebody else's plight.
So was he talking about like his opinion about it not being fair, or was he like talking about that it was? Was he talking about it being an issue or not being an issue?
Not being an issue. He said that he felt like everybody wants to make everything about race, and it's not when things just have nothing to do with race.
So and I don't agree with that, but I think that a lot of people. Because how I receive something may not be how you receive something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like you said, it's because I'm not a black woman.
Yeah.
I'm a Hispanic woman.
Yeah.
Ray's not a Hispanic woman. She's a black woman. So I'm going to have a different experience than she is.
I'm taking it out of context.
No, but that's okay. But I'm like, but she has a different experience in this life than I do, right? There's a lot of things that happen with me. Like me and Donnell, one year we went to freaking South Carolina driving. We went to Mississippi. There was a little white boy standing outside the door, and he was just staring at us. Both of us. I'm a Hispanic woman. My husband's a black man. And he was just staring at us. And we were holding the door open for him to come through, and he would not come through that door. He was staring at us like we were aliens.
Yeah.
He was young. He had to be like 7.
See, I'm so scared to
This is
even
taught.
stop in Mississippi.
This is a taught behavior.
Yeah, for sure.
I know the type of people his parents are by that behavior.
Exactly.
And this was like maybe 10, 15 years ago. So it's been a minute, but it's out there.
But could you imagine how they act now? Oh my Lord.
It's out there. You know, racism is out there regardless, right? Now, I'm not saying racism is the motive behind everybody's actions, but it's there.
Yeah, and we talked about it. I think we talked about yesterday because in one of my classes yesterday we were talking about implicit bias and how it's so prevalent in healthcare and so I had to watch Origin, but anyway.
Nice.
That's where I get to watch the Origin class. But we talked about how like there are things that are ingrained in us for various reasons that are just automatic, right? Like so that I was like okay, so I give the example. We wouldn't have to do with race, but it was just like even ageism. So if you see a 60-year-old man that with a 30-year-old girlfriend, what is the first thing you're gonna think? Oh, he a sugar daddy,
right? But
and he just might be,
right?
But he could have just fell in love,
absolutely,
with this girl too, right?
Absolutely.
So our knee-jerk reaction is
right,
sugar daddy,
right?
And we talk about that with racism, and because then I wrote a grant before just about how, and when I had to do data mining and research, it was about pulling up how like black women and women of color are more likely to die in childbirth. And so just like that stark difference is because some people just have this implicit bias. Like if a black woman says I'm in pain, I'm hurting, it's not really paid attention to.
Right.
They're like, oh, she'll be fine. Or they delay medication or treatment, right? But then if a white woman says it, because we are trained to validate white women's tears and white women's plight a lot more than any other woman, black, Hispanic, whatever woman of color, then automatically everybody has to jump, stop, run, drop what you're doing, take care of her. But we don't get that same treatment. That's why we die at astronomical rates in childbirth, whereas somebody that's white does not. So even though it seems unfair, it's the truth. It's not my opinion.
Right.
It is the truth.
Right.
It's documented everywhere. Right. So, yeah. So I think like this racism is alive and well. I just thought that his sermon that day and his opinion that day was very inappropriate. I thought it was tone deaf. I thought it was, and I literally had to do the finger and walk out, and I never been back.
Yeah. And now
my mom heard it. So my mom actually watched it
Wait, so it was streaming or you were there in person?
I was there in person. My
Okay.
mom was streaming.
Okay, I was like, wait.
And so my mom actually watched it, and she was like, and I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. So she calls me, and I was
so
like,
you let her form her own opinion.
I let her form her own opinion. I didn't even say what happened at church that day.
Mm-hmm.
So she calls me, and she's like, so what did he mean? So then I'm like, okay, it's not just me.
Yeah.
Mom wrote an email. Mom wrote an email and requested, like, just wanted a little bit of explanation for what his comments were.
Right.
To the church. They never responded. So that just let me know.
That verified for you, yeah.
Okay, so it's not like your attention wasn't even brought to it. You didn't care enough. And then that just furthered my thought of you're just tone deaf.
Right.
And I have a very difficult time with that.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and one thing I can choose a few things in my life where I go to church is one of them.
Right.
And so that's why I have such a hard time finding a church house. But anyway, so yeah, that's why I just quit going there.
Yeah. And I can let you guys, all y'all know right now, I do not have a racist bone in my body. One bit. I love every freaking body. Some of my best friends are freaking white. My husband's black. My daughter is black and Hispanic. I have no racist bone in my body. What I have an issue with is people who have an issue with people that are different colors, that are gay, that have, like, who freaking cares?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing for them?
Even like,
What
I
does
don't,
it matter?
there's something that I don't understand. Me and men have had this conversation many times.
Yeah.
And it's not like a mystery how I feel. I just don't understand some things.
Yeah.
And we have literally had, like, I know English. And I know they means two people. And so, I don't know how one person can be two people. But that is not my burden to bear. Right? And so I can say I don't understand. And you know what's even better than me saying it? I don't gotta understand it.
That's right.
And then you gotta be okay with me not understanding it.
Yes.
Just like you want me to understand it, you also have to have empathy and understand that I don't understand it.
Right.
And be okay. Just like you want me to give you grace and give you your space and give you, which is fine.
Right.
But you got to do that same thing for me.
So my brother wanted me to create, so I used to own a luxury tumbler company and I used to create t-shirts. My brother wanted me to create a t-shirt that says, I apologize if I mispronouns you. And I said, I am not making that shirt. I refuse to make that shirt. One, because some people might get offended by it. And two, even though you think it's funny, because, I mean, he doesn't have an issue. Yeah. He's not, he doesn't have any issues with people going by different.
But it's
but he thinks it's funny. And I'm like, some people might not think that's funny. I'm not making a shirt like that. Yeah. Because to me, that's controversial. And I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Yeah. That's my thing. But yeah, he wanted me to make a shirt that says, I apologize.
But it's true. Like, right. Because I've done it with you, Amanda. Like, me, when I'm talking about I know my niece. So if I have a niece, but she's not my niece. She's not a girl anymore. She's they. So do I say my,
okay.
I don't want to say my relative.
Okay. So they go by they, right? So them. So it's they or them.
So
that's their pronoun.
But if she's my niece and nephew.
No. So are they transgender?
Halfway.
Okay. So they were born a female.
Yes.
Have they transgender or have they transferred or transitioned to a male?
No, not
totally.
Do
they plan to transition to a male?
I don't really know.
Okay, so that's the difference. So if they're transgender, meaning they were born one sex and transitioned to another, that's transgender, right? They could be just a female. Like, let's just say me, if I'm a female, but I'm like, I don't want to be categorized or boxed in as a female or a male because I just want to be a person. So I want to go by they or them.
So how do you say niece or nephew?
You don't. You just say they or them. So when you're talking to somebody, like if you were...
My they?
No, you just say they or them.
If I want to say if I said, well, how is she related to you?
Be like, oh, well then you would say my niece.
But that niece is a girl.
According to vocabulary, yes. So you say my niece.
Do you not see how confusing this is? There is no word for niece and nephew together.
No, but when you're talking to them, you say they or them. Or like if you're talking to, like, say your mom, and you're talking about whatever their name is, and you're like, yeah, so they.
Oh, I know that part.
Yeah, so that's where the.
But if somebody asks me, well, then what are they to you?
You just say my niece.
My niece.
Yes, unless they transition and they're going by a male, then you would say my nephew.
But then that doesn't follow the rules of they or them.
But it's a pronoun. Like, that's the pronoun they
want
to
go
by.
I need that shirt. I need that shirt.
I can't do that shirt. I'm not making that shirt.
But you see what I'm saying? So I do try to understand, and there are some things I'm not going to understand, and I can't really wrap my mind around it. And it's okay.
That is perfectly
okay.
fine. And it gets confusing, and it is hard. And this goes for everything, not just for this particular situation. Yeah. It goes for anything that your mind is used to.
Exactly.
Anytime,
even interracial relationships, some people have a hard time, working their mind around that. Yeah. So, but there's a conversation we have that y'all don't normally get to see. Because I'm just like, I don't want to seem disrespectful.
Yeah, and it's not disrespectful.
All I know her of is my niece.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's like they see. I didn't get caught up even trying to figure this out. So like they have a new name.
Right.
They have. So it's just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
So it's just a little.
Yeah.
And I'm not around them very much.
There you go. See it.
So I have to pause.
Yes.
I'm not around them very much. So it's not like I get to practice a lot either. And so I think it's like, if I was around them more, they don't even live in the same city. So it would be, I would have practice more.
Right.
And so I think that's also part of the issue.
So another thing that you could do is plug their name into whenever you're talking about them, instead of saying they or them.
But I think what people don't understand, so I'm going to just say this, I'm going to be very transparent in this moment. I want to get y'all hear me breathing my mic. I exhaled very loudly. I think also what people don't realize when they're going through changes, your family is also going through changes.
Right, absolutely.
Because I'm also mourning my niece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so I think they don't give us enough grace to understand, like, it's difficult on a lot of layers. I'm not minimizing what they have gone through and what they're going through. Yes. It's just that also give me grace, because I'm also mourning the little girl that I used to talk to, laugh with. So, you know what I mean? So
you have memories too.
I have memories too, right? And I can't just erase those memories.
Yeah.
So I think some people don't realize that you have to give other people grace as well to mourn the old person.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And so it's not some people, but it's not intentional.
Absolutely.
But the grace has to be extended both ways.
And that can go with anything that you're switching from, right? If you're doing something new and changing anything, and your mind has to get used to the new that's happening. And it's hard to break routines. It's hard to change from something that you've been doing for umpteen years. Yeah. You know, or that you've known for umpteen years. It's hard to do something.
But I'm going to say this. Y'all better get out and vote.
Guys, it's...
Because all of these conversations are great, you know? But y'all...
I'm going to sit up for this one. I'm about to...
Amanda, bleep this. Y'all, I can't be no house nigga. I don't want to go back that far back. I don't know. It's almost like when people start turning the time back, where does it stop? Where does it stop? When we're going back to what? Because there was a time when my race, my culture, we couldn't even own land, property, houses. We couldn't even pass on what we worked for in our death to our family, because it was against the law. Yep. So after we passed, they would just come and get it. So it's kind of like Pandora's box. Where does it stop? When they start making these changes and these rules, like, I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to politics, I do have a little bit of an issue when it comes to the fact that I can vote as an act, not a law, right? But then other people have issues and they just get stuff passed in 5 seconds. Other races have issues that gets passed. Other people get hate crime bill passed in 5 seconds. But we've been fighting since Jesus was a baby. So it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I do have issues with that, because so many presidents could have signed that act into law. So why is it that no one asked about that?
Right. Yeah.
You shouldn't have to renew my right to vote, dude. Like, what is the problem? And all I gotta do is just table it, not pass it, and we can't vote.
Girl, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna take my mic. I'm going to have a conversation with you guys real quick. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. I'm just going to be real. One of my biggest pet peeves is people complaining about things over and over and over again.
And no action.
And they don't do anything about it. My thing is if there's something that you have an issue with, do something about it or quit complaining. That's the bottom line. I hate the excuse that I don't really follow politics. I don't care about politics.
Until it affects you.
Okay. So then you're okay with the way that you're living. You're okay with your pay. You're okay with having to struggle to buy groceries. You're okay with having to not be able to afford to buy a home because house prices are ridiculous.
Not even go on vacation.
Yeah, you can't go on vacation. You can't buy your kids new school clothes because you can't afford anything.
Either you clothe them or you feed them.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be a choice. Like you shouldn't have to choose one or the other.
Yeah, because how do you think the economy is the way that it is?
Yeah.
What do you think is happening? Do you think that people are just deciding that things are going to be priced the way that they are? No, everything is cyclical and everything is happening starting from the top. And where is the top?
Down effect.
Yeah. So it does affect you. You are involved. It does matter. And it's going to matter for generations to come. So where does it change? Do you want your kids later on down the line asking, well, did mom and dad do anything when this was happening? Because we don't know. We have no idea how the world's going to be when our kids, we're not going to be here. We're not going to be here to see the crap show that may be happening. Yeah. And what's going to happen? We're going to leave our kids just to deal with it. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with your kids asking, did mom and dad do anything? Are you okay with not standing your ground, not putting your foot down and saying enough is enough? Are you okay with that? You know what I mean? I know Martin Luther King's kids are proud. I know his grandkids are proud. I know Rosa Parks' family's proud. Are you going to put your foot down and say that's it?
I don't want to talk about Martin Luther King because I have my own opinions about that.
You go right on ahead, girl. I'm just saying.
That's going to be episode 2.
I'm just
part
saying.
Part 2 of this.
I'm not telling you to be a full-blown activist and go out there and act crazy, but I'm telling you it starts somewhere. It starts somewhere. And it starts with us.
Educate your kids at home, yourself. I honestly didn't know about the real reason behind Come and Take It until I went to HBCU in college. Mm-hmm.
You know my brothers went to Houston Tillotson, right?
Really? That's
yeah, they
awesome.
played baseball.
Yeah, I had no clue. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, why don't they teach that part of it?
Because there's some things that they feel that you don't need to know.
Right.
But then they teach us math that we don't need to know.
And they teach us, we were indentured servants now and not slaves. So there's that.
Yeah. So yes, it's a pick and choose, and then they take books out of our library that they feel that we don't need to learn about, books. And they ban books that they don't feel that we need to learn about.
What does that sound like? Germany, but we're not going to go there.
So it's and again, my biggest issue, and it's been my entire life since I was a little bean. I do not like people telling me what I can and cannot do. Yeah. I am my own person. I have my own thoughts, my own processes, and I cannot know.
Yeah. It's interesting. Life is interesting, but I just think there are going to be some good things coming out.
We love thought-provoking conversations. We like to have conversations that are productive.
And then you don't have to agree to have a conversation.
Absolutely. We can have conversations. I don't feel uncomfortable to talk to us.
Yeah.
Or anybody. Have a conversation. If you don't agree, okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's chat it out. Let's chat about it. And the conversation may end with y'all not agreeing, and that's fine. Yeah. There's not an issue with that. You don't have to agree with somebody to be cool with them.
Exactly. And it's really better if you're not, because if we both think alike, who gonna correct me when I'm wrong?
All I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Who's gonna be like, okay, Rashawn, we need to sit down? Mm-hmm. Because you tripping right now. So, because Meredith told me that. She's like, okay, Rashawn, she's had a whole counseling session.
That's right.
I was looking for the sofa to lay down on. I feel like I should be laying on the sofa right now.
I'm like, wait
I feel like I'm in a whole counseling session. What's your cash app so I can send you my little copay?
What's your fee? Yeah. Yes. But I'm just saying, it's okay. You can agree to disagree. Yeah, it's fine.
For sure.
You do not have to be enemies because of it. There is not a problem.
For sure.
But yeah, me and Ray, I'm saying.
It's been another great 2 episodes, episode 1 and episode 2.
Great episodes, guys.
Because this is going to be the rest of the year, boy. We're going to be talking and talking and talking. But it's been a great time spending with you. Absolutely. It has been beautiful as usual. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other.
That's right.
Like my friends say, I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Nothing.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into I Talk Back with Rae and Mandii. Please hit the like and subscribe button to stay updated on future podcasts.